Well, ladies and gentlemen, on this very special occasion, I now have the honor of inviting a personality par excellence, Trishma. I've had the wonderful opportunity of comparing many an event for this gentleman, and I know he's going to share his wealth of experience, his words of wisdom with us this evening. And in fact, last year I completed a very successful HRM conference chaired by this personality. So without further ado, I have the pleasure of inviting Director of the Postgraduate Institute of Management, Professor Ajantha Dharamsiri, to address you all.
Thank you, Faisal. Engineer Karuna Sen Hettiarachchi, the Secretary to the Ministry of Defense, Dr. Saman Kelegama and other distinguished members of the judging panel of the PIMA Olympics, Mr. Lalit Veeratunga and other distinguished invitees, and all the recipients of awards this evening, and their loved ones, their colleagues, their friends, and all other friends who have gathered here today. And also the dynamic PIMA Exco led by Mr. Sampath Pereira and the other people who worked hard behind this glamorous event. And I was asked to do the keynote speech, and it is a surprise. First they approached the Prime Minister, he had said yes, and last Friday he had said no. And they had a wee bit of hope that His Excellency, the President will be here tonight, at least for 15 minutes, and the hope got dashed this morning. So this is life. Life is full of surprises. And we had started the event anticipating the technology would help us with the national anthem, and we had even a more beautiful experience in singing the national anthem together. For me, which was more meaningful, more impactful. So these are all surprises in life. So let me share some thoughts that comes to my mind with regard to achievements, leading and achieving, which is the central theme, I would say, around the whole function tonight. I'm sure we are all celebrating the achievements, success, the results that people have worked so hard. And they say the success that people achieved are not by sudden flight. They kept on climbing at night while their colleagues slept. So the point is, it's all about working towards a purpose with a sense of passion, and then to show the performance in action. So I'm a fan of having a purpose and being passionate about reaching your purpose and living your purpose and showing the needed performance. So let me reflect on some of these things which I have myself learned the hard way, particularly having taken over the reins of PIM. And as I mentioned when PIMA felicitated me last year, when I took over the directorship, and I said, now it's PIM 3.0, because PIM leadership has now shifted towards the third generation. So let me remember with respect Professor Gunapala Nanakkara, who was the founder director who built this institution 30 years ago. And then Professor Udita Liyanage, who even took it to a greater heights. And I happen to be a student of both of them. So it's a third generation which has been entrusted the tasks of taking it forward. So Mr. Hettiarachchi, I am very happy to mention that we are in the process of expansion, and we celebrate 30 years of not only existence but excellence. And I remember a few years ago, we were approached by the UGC, and it told us that we can apply for a government grant for our building project, which was at that time estimated to be 200 million. And we prepared a proposal, and the cabinet paper went for a 50 million grant from the government. And the cabinet carefully looked at the proposal, and they sent us a reply in Sinhala, which said, පශ්චාත් කළමනාකරණ ආයතනය ඉතා විශිෂ්ට ලෙස පවත්වාගෙන යන ආයතනයක් බැවින් ඉතිරි මිලියන 50 ඔවුන් විසින්ම සපයා ගන්නා ලෙස මෙයින් දැනුම් දෙමු. So we didn't take that as a complaint, we took it as a compliment and we took it as a challenge. And I'm very happy to say that being the premier pioneering postgraduate entity in Sri Lanka, we have become self-financed for the past 18 years and we are confident in moving in that direction. And when I took over a little less than 2 years ago as an acting director, I felt it's more a cross than a crown, which was suddenly offered to me, and I was taken by surprise. But I realized as we move along, it's more of a hybrid, which is a crown and a cross as well. So in other words, when we see the harvest of the efforts that we put in, you can have a humble pleasure that things are happening in the right direction. Particularly, the vibrancy we see in the resurrected Middle Eastern programs. We have started the lean model in Dubai, catering for the United Arab Emirates, offering the MBA program, where we have the flying faculty model. Every month the faculty member goes and conducts 70% of the entire module physically being with them. And the remaining 30% is through the M-learning platform through a mobile communication provider. So we have seen that working very well, and as a result of that, we have extended that to Doha, Qatar. So the next wing would be the Qatar. And the Middle Eastern vibrancy gives us a sense of encouragement that what we have planned has given us some results. So it's an opportune moment for me to reflect on certain thoughts on leadership. For me, I believe everything boils down to leadership. And they say the only ship that survives in a storm is leadership. And talking about ships, it reminds me, somewhere I read a very interesting thought by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, a French writer and a World War II pilot. He says, if you want to build a ship, don't drum up the men and ask them to go to the forest, gather woods, and make planks and nail them and make the ship. Instead, create the desire for the sea. I realized by experience this is what essentially leadership is about. It's not just telling, it's not just instructing, it's not just ordering. It's completely opposite. It's inspiring, it's influencing towards a common vision. Rallying people together towards a common vision. Leader has to become a visionary and he has a dream team towards taking them to the vision. Unfortunately, there's a big question mark. Do you see visionary leaders in our society or do we see visionary leaders? A point to reflect. Are we really having the vision and the passion to reach the vision with appropriate action? And I am sure you would have heard this fairy tale we all learned, Alice in Wonderland, where Alice saw a wild dream and some funny creatures came and started playing with Alice, and Cheshire cat came from a branch of a tree and approached Alice and asked from Alice, Alice, where do you want to go? Alice says, I don't know. And the cat says, go in any road would lead you to the place called I don't know. Isn't this happening in our lives? In Sinhala we say, Danagana giyot, Kataragama nodena giyot, Atharamaka. In a recent seminar with a large gathering, I mentioned this story and I asked them, are you Kataragama people or are you Atharamaga people? They said, we are Kataramaga people. Neither here nor there. And at the end of the seminar, one person approached me, Ayo sir oka parana katawak, dan tino alut katawak. Danagana giyot wattala, nodena giyot mattala. There's a new interpretation of the whole thing. So my point is, as Stephen Covey very correctly said, begin with the end in mind. Have a clear understanding of where you want to move on. So we at PIM brainstormed as a faculty together with the non-academic community, and we came up with a 5-year vision to be a center of management excellence in South Asia. And we soul searched for our mission to ignite human imagination by creating leaders with global presence and local pulse. And I firmly believe future belongs to those who create it. And as Dr. Daniel Pink mentions in his beautiful book, Whole New Brain, future belongs to right brainers. Right in the sense, two connotations. One is the right side of the brain, which is more creative, imaginative, artistic side. At the same time, the right proper brain, right use of brain. Provided we have the brain at the right place, and I hope no one is sitting on it. So you need to use the brain meaningfully. So I believe in imagination leading to innovation, in turn implementation in a larger scale. We need imagination more and more. As the maestro from down south, Kumaratunga Munidasa said, "Alut talut de nothanana jatiya, kisida lono nagi, hinga kama barivunu tana lagi gaya maragi." The nation without innovation will never prosper. It will just lay lamenting, being unable to beg. So we need to bring imagination to the forefront, in turn innovation to the forefront. And I'm happy to say that PIM has started the initiative by having PIM Genesis, the business incubator for the aspiring entrepreneurs, and essentially for the MBA students, and then in turn for the PIM alumni as well. Currently, 1 out of 5 MBA graduates from PIM end up becoming entrepreneurs. In 5 years down the line, we want to double this number, so 2 out of 5 MBA graduates from PIM would end up as entrepreneurs. Because we need to strengthen the SME sector. We need to have more entrepreneurs shaping the economy of the country to ensure that the socio-economic fabric is taking vibrancy in the country. So these are some of the things that we are attempting to do. And we work on 5 pillars of our edifice of excellence. One, of course, is the teaching and learning. We experiment, we innovate, we talk about cutting-edge learning through creative teaching faculty. And then we do extensive research, we do world-class research, and Sri Lankan Journal of Management, which is a premier publication of PIM, is the longest surviving management journal in Sri Lanka, which is available in EBSCO database worldwide, and we would be making it a ranked journal very soon. And we actively engage in research, and we encourage PIM alumni also to get into research. And the third pillar is partnerships. I'm very happy to say that we have a solid partnership with University of New South Wales, Australia, UNSW, where they give 3 PhD scholarships to our aspiring MBAs every year, no strings attached, 100% paid, which is the only such scheme available in Sri Lanka. It's a CSR initiative from that end. Dr. A.K.L. Javadana being one of our faculty member, and who was an adjunct research fellow at UNSW, forged this deal, and it has started giving us results by already sending 5 aspiring doctoral candidates to Australia. So the fourth pillar is infrastructure, or the, I would say, the green infrastructure. We want to be more eco-friendly, and we have a long way to go. And I was very critical when I entered the director's room. There were 27 fluorescent lights. It is such a small room. So we have to be energy efficient, and we have to look at the carbon emission that we do, and we have to be eco-friendly in our new building project. So we are working on that. And finally, exemplary governance. That's a term that I prefer, so it has not got tarnished. Exemplary governance. So we want to ensure that what we preach are put into practice. So there's transparency in talking and acting. So we want to ensure that we do everything at PIM according to the regulations, even though we are a self-financing entity. So we work on those 5 pillars and celebrating 3 decades of excellence, and we look forward for future, and we aspire to reach greater heights together. And talking about leadership, it's about inspiring, it's about influencing, it's about ensuring that people are engaged. And the latest concept I have come across by Henry Mintzberg, who is a maestro in management, when he says leadership should eventually leads to communityship. That's the newer term, communityship. So I'm very happy to address my colleagues as dear learning community. So it's a larger team in a sense, who is collaborating with each other, who are supporting each other, who are connected and who are working in a committed manner with each other. So communityship is the key. So it's not one man show anymore. It's one team show. Team is in the front, team is at the helm, and team would achieve the desired results. So that's what PIM is all about. And I should tell wholeheartedly, PIMA is the proclamation of PIM's pride. Because PIM is as good as its alumni. PIMA showcases the value of PIM, the vibrancy of PIM, the visibility of PIM in the business arena, and also to some extent in the public arena. So their results, their contribution, and their involvement as leaders in both private and public sectors showcase the value of PIM. So let me invite you all to have that vibrancy, have that value in terms of being PIM alumni, in contributing to the national well-being, in contributing to the socio-economic upliftment of the country. That is what we need. And we are going through crossroads. And we have the Secretary of the Ministry of Defense. We are going through a transition in taking Sri Lanka to a higher level with greater international accountability. So we need to ensure that all professionals are aware of their roles and they contribute to the utmost possible manner. So we have a role to play in this juncture. And let me also welcome the people who are not PIM alumni, but whom we are recognizing tonight. We can work together. They say birds of a feather flock together. As achievers, as great contributors, as great innovators, we can work together. There are plenty of ways you can work with PIM and for that matter with PIM alumni. So my simple invitation is, let's get together and let's start flying higher. And let me just contemplate on just one thought from Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. When he said, the difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing, there's a gap, there's a difference, would suffice in terms of what we contribute. The difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing, if we can bridge the gap, we can make the world a better place to live. The world needs better management, world needs better leadership, world needs better communityship in living together, in leading together, in leveraging results together. So let me invite you to get into that communityship mindset, collaborating with each other, committing yourself to connecting with each other in achieving concrete results that we need as a nation and also in turn as a region. I'm representing Sri Lanka in the South Asian Management Development Institutions, MDSA, Association of South Asian Management Development. And we see the humanly rich region. We occupy 1/5 of the world population. We have a huge paradox in front of us. We have the brilliant brains, one of the best brains, or rather most of the best brains in the world. They say most of the NASA scientists, at least 50% are from South Asia. At the same time, worst form of poverty. We are only second to sub-Saharan Africa. So why there is this paradox, best brains and worst poverty coexisting? We need to find a solution. My simple approach is have better management, have better leadership, have better communityship, collaborating, synergizing with each other. So let me leave those food for thought with you, and let me take this opportunity to congratulate all the winners who would be celebrating their victories tonight in this glamorous event, and also to recognize the winners out there, not only in here, who have not either applied or who have not yet been recognized or who have not yet been interested in applying to such awards. So they are at large. So we need to recognize them as well. I see a lot of such people in the public sector, and I'm very happy at least we have started recognizing public sector professionals, where one platinum award was given to a public sector civil service administrator. So that's a good trend, because we need to have PPP, which we strongly encourage at PIM, private-public partnership. We need for the national growth, we need for the socio-economic well-being of the country. So let me leave those food for thoughts, and final word that I would like to say: leadership is nothing to do with positions and titles, it's to do with decisions and actions. So let's decide to act as leaders and make the country a better place to live. May that journey be an enriching, energizing, excellent journey. Let us all join that journey. Bon voyage, happy journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor, for your thought-provoking address and giving everybody food for thought this evening.